I'm Misty Winkler from Simply Convivial. Whether you have been homeschooling for years or suddenly your kids are home and you're needing to help them use their time well, schooling at home during COVID-19, life has changed suddenly and dramatically. And the distractions have been immense. Since this all at home lifestyle is going to keep going for a little while, we need to make a plan on how to cope. And a big part of that is minimizing the distractions. So, this workshop that I did with my members focused on that, on making a plan to minimize distractions and set a structure for our days that will help us handle them with true grace. And I wanted to share it with you too. So let's dig in. So I think that one thing that we learned this week is the truth of how much attention makes a difference in a day. And sometimes we learn that by doing it and putting it into practice and experiencing the benefits of having attention. And sometimes we learn how important attention is by its lack. By not having attention, we realize that didn't work very well. And it's not that we need to feel bad about this last week. It is what it is. It was a transition week. It was an unfolding of uncertainties and a change of plans all across the board in many different kinds of ways, mostly completely unexpectedly. So we can learn from that. We can look over this past week and learn from it and then move forward with that knowledge. So we can iterate. We have to iterate. We have to not just press forward with our old plans as if nothing had ever happened. And we also can't just keep flying by the seat of our pants and say all plans are off. Now we have no structure. We have no attention. We have nothing. We're just going to wing it because I'm not prepared, basically. And that's not going to get us in good places either. So having made a whole bunch of transitions and changes in this last week, we need to brain dump for this weekend for the next coming weeks, which are going to be different, but they still need to be. And maybe we don't need to do all of the things that were on our plan, but what do we need to do? In light of how things have changed, how responsibilities and our time has shifted, what's important now? It might not be what was important 2 weeks ago. But we need to examine that and spend some time thinking about that to prepare for the coming, at least next week, if not multiple weeks. The stress of trying to make it or expect it to be a normal week when it wasn't is real. And that stress is only going to continue if we say, well, okay, we had that week and next week we're going to act as if it's totally normal, but it's not. So that's why we need to iterate, which means looking at what has happened right now and how we can move forward in light of our current circumstances and what we know about how we're working right now, how our kids are working right now, what our shifting priorities really need to be at this time. So make sure and take some time this weekend to brain dump about that and to let expectations and priorities shift based on the actual reality right now. So about minimizing distractions during homeschool hours. And of course, that's one of the main reasons, one of the main disruptors this last week has been how much distraction there has been. There's distraction, of course, of the news and the excuse that, well, now it's vital that I need to know what the news is. And it's not like that's wrong. But we know, especially now at the end of this week, how distracting that is. And there has been news that we need to keep up on. But in keeping up with the actual news that we need to know, how many people have continued into news that you didn't actually need or want, It's like, and then you click on the next article, and then you click on the next one underneath. And it's this spiral of attention that's really hard to climb out of. So we know that distraction pulls us away from the realities around us and from our responsibilities. There are times, and there is a place for knowing what's in the news and needing to know. But especially in our social media, regular media, political society right now, most of the sources of news are structured in such a way to suck you into them and not let you out. Like, they're designed to keep you there in front of all their advertisements, and that's how they make money. And that's just the way it's set up. It's not set up to give you what you need to know as quickly and simply as possible. It's designed to draw you in and keep you in. And so we need to go in there into the news, kind of with our masks and our hazmat suit on, like ready to fend off their desire to suck us in. And we need to set aside some times that are protected from news distractions, from internet distractions. And that's even more important now than ever, to put the news and the updates in their place and to find sources that are more reliable, less hypey, less panicky, less, I'm just feeding you advertisements and drawing you away from your life into this feed. Find the sources that we can go to, get what we need, and come out and practice that as a skill. And when we're aware of how the news tries to draw us in and keep us there, or YouTube, it's just really all the same. Instagram, all of these platforms are designed, just like the grocery store puts the candy bars right at eye level at the checkout line, and that's how they sell more of them. Like it's all like that. So just think of the news as the checkout line, where sometimes you just have to put blinders on and ignore half of what's in front of your face in order to get through the checkout line to get what you need. We need to do that with the news, and we need to put it in its place and be able to cut it off when it's time to focus on the actual situation in our own homes that is our responsibility to address. So having some non-connected, non-internet, non-news times, now that, because it's been kind of an unfolding drama that we're all caught up in the middle of. And so it's not only that there's been more news as far as distractions, the unrolling news reports have been a distraction, but it's also, texts and figuring out how to do different kinds of technology to replace the in-person things we were going to be doing, and getting emails in our inbox from every single company we've ever given our emails to, telling us how they're handling it, and all the great memes to see on Instagram and Facebook and get a little bit of levity out of it. And the messaging back and forth with friends, updating what it's like in their towns and their situations, figuring out new situations, the distraction of a new arrangement if your husband's unexpectedly home. There are all kinds of different distractions that just landed. And so it's not a problem that the attention was hard this week. And it's not a problem that there were all those distractions. In a way, this was a distraction week, and that's what it was. But we don't want to let that become the new established pattern during this time either. So now we know, okay, dad's going to be working from home, or maybe even is out of work for a while. Our co-op is off. The sports practices are off. We're doing this online now. These are the people I need to be checking up on, because now we know, okay, we're just hunkering down. Just do it. Okay. Now I don't need to pay attention to political bandwagoning about all of this. We just need to stay home, and that's what we'll do. And when we can zero in like that on what our responsibilities are, and that focus in allows us attention, and attention will help keep us sane, right? And now this weekend, it will be a time to brain dump and wrap our heads around being responsible in the new normal. So a big piece of the new normal that we need to be aware of is how extra tempting the distractions are going to be during this time, and to set some real protocols, some boundaries and structure and rules to help mitigate the siren call of distraction. Applying some of this to ourselves, like when I have a kid who has a math lesson that they don't want to do, and they're kind of upset about having to do it, or they're upset about getting it wrong, or they're upset about not understanding it. The being upset about it prevents the learning from happening. It's just the brain's shut down, and all of the emotion, all of the attention is on how I feel about this right now, how angry I am about this right now. We can draw some parallels there to ourselves, right? What I will have them do is get up and go get a drink of water, go run around outside, go do laps in the yard, get some fresh air, if you can't go outside, do some jumping jacks to just change the body's attention, then come back sitting down to the work with the ability to focus. If you can look up online brain breaks, and there will be all kinds of different options for doing that, but I think we need to have a lot of those in our back pocket right now, because emotions are just kind of an attention and concern. They're all a wobble. It's unstable right now. And it is for us as the moms, it is for our husbands and their work situations, it is for the kids as they are handling disappointments and change, and that's hard for them too. And so to not demand attention to just come, but to have some strategies to pull, knowing that it's going to be extra hard to have attention. So we're going to need some extra strategies, extra understanding, extra grace, which doesn't mean just letting it happen, but it means giving the needed outlets to come back to the truth, right? Grace never lets you stay stuck. That's not the point of grace, isn't to just say, okay, it's okay that you're there. It's okay. I understand. You can just be messed up for now. No, grace says, yeah, I know you're messed up, but come on, we can do this. And so that's what we need with our kids. I know this is hard, but we can do this. We can get a drink of ice water. We can put some lemon, we can change up the water to make it more appealing, make it more fun. We can make cookies when this school day is over. We can do jumping jacks together, both of us. Whenever we catch ourselves just kind of staring out of the window or starting to pick up the phone, it's like, nope, I'm going to do 10 jumping jacks instead. And if we do that to ourselves, for ourselves, in front of our kids, it's going to lighten the mood, because it's going to be funny watching mom suddenly get up and do jumping jacks. But that's also teaching them how to handle life. And that's the big opportunity that we have right now as parents, is teaching our kids and, learning and practicing ourselves what it really looks like to trust God and walk in faithfulness with the duties in front of us. And that's it for this session today. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and get weekly short videos on managing life well as a homemaker, a homeschooler, as Christian women who want to honor and glorify God in all that we do. We'd love to have you subscribe here at YouTube to get that every week. But we'd really love to have you subscribe to Simply Convivial Continuing Education, where you will receive workshops like this every week, plus a dozen homemaking and homeschooling related self-paced e-courses. You'll have instant access, plus a community with hundreds of like-minded women who hold one another accountable, give one another true encouragement, and where we all spur one another on to more love and good works. That's Simply Convivial Continuing Education, and you can find that link below. Let's repent, rejoice, repeat.